Hello guys and welcome to Odds on Champions League. We have the second leg of the third qualifying round. We have good teams. We had many surprises. So let's analyze this second leg. How are you, Danny?
Hi, Edu. I'm really well. Well, this is the penultimate step before the Champions League group stages. There will be the playoff at the end of August. But in this round, in the third qualifying round, we have former Champions League or European Cup winners that they want to book their place in the group stage where it matters, but it won't be easy for them. Let's start.
Yeah, it was not easy. We had many surprises last week. So let's go game by game because there is a lot of money to be made in this qualification round of the Champions League. Starting with the first game, Danny, Sheriff Tiraspol, Red Star Belgrade. We were saying last week that Red Star should finish off the leg in Belgrade because they were playing at home. They were big favorites. Sheriff Tiraspol is an unknown team in Europe, but that didn't happen. Sheriff Tiraspol got a 1-1 draw. So despite this result, even Red Star is favored to go through. The odds for an away victory are only 2.03. I don't know, Danny, if after seeing the first leg, these two teams already played the two qualification round each, you think that Red Star is still the favorite or the team from Moldova can surprise everyone and qualify for the playoff?
No, I think Red Star is still the favorites because they got more quality on the pitch. And I'm referring also to last year's campaign in the Europa League when they did really well. Let's not forget how they dominated the Serbian League and also won the Serbian Cup. But you're right, Sheriff surprised Red Star. In the end, both teams could have won. It was very open game. They had chances right till the end. The visitors, and let's not forget the Red Star were playing with 10 men because Kenga was sent off around the hour mark. I think we also saw the limits of Sheriff Tiraspol. Let's not forget this is a team that never qualified for the group stages of the Champions League, struggle even to qualify for the Europa League. Sheriff looked rugged at the back. They looked sloppy. And Red Star could have capitalized a little bit more. But let's not forget also Sheriff are a quick team. They can play on the counter attack, and the away goals don't count anymore in the Champions League this season in Europe at all. So the 1-1 leaves a very open game. It could also be 0-0 and then they'll go to extra time. So they'll both have to go for it. They come on a decent form. Red Star won 1-0 at the weekend. Sheriff won 7-1 against Dinamo Auto, which is not a brand of automobile, but is a team from Tiraspol. 7-1 in the little derby there of the Moldovan capital. But I think Dejan Stankovic man should be able to finish the job away. So there is good odds, as you can see. Red Star to win 2.03.
A huge thing what you mentioned, there is no away goal thing in Europe anymore. So this is going to be a crucial game. And if there is a draw, they will go to extra time. Then we have a very interesting one. We said it last week, and even it's going to be probably more interesting after seeing the result in Hungary. Slavia Prague, Ferencvaros, because Ferencvaros took the lead. They won 2-0, an own goal and a penalty gave them the advantage in this tie. Now Slavia Prague, they are huge favorites because, as we were saying in many other videos, this is a team that they've been doing great things in the previous years, but also last season they were kicked out of the preview of the Champions League against Midtjylland, and probably they are making the same mistake this season, whereas Ferencvaros, they were able actually to qualify last season in the Champions League, and they are showing also that they have a project. Danny, odds very low for Slavia Prague to win this game. Odds 1.5, of course. They need 3 goals margin to qualify.
You can understand why the pressure is on Tripskowski's men. They play at home. They need to get the result, and they need to win by a huge margin in order to qualify. They were stunned at the Ferenc Puskás Arena. Unbelievable atmosphere in Budapest, the same as we saw during European games. Obviously, the public there in full capacity. And it has to be said that Ferencvaros were a touch lucky because they were on the back foot for most of the first half. Then they took the lead thanks to the own goal from Kacharaba. The same defender then gifted the penalty on the 15 minutes, and Ferencvaros ran away with the victory. What can we say? We say, of course, that Slavia has got had a week to rest because the game against Sigma Olomouc has been postponed, so they got that extra rest to focus on the game. They'll have to do it without Peter Sercik in midfield, quite influential. He was substituted after 25th minutes, and I think that's where Slavia Prague lacked a little bit of consistency in the middle of the field. Really interesting to see the selection from Tripskowski, whether Abdallah Sima and Peter Olainka, who were really important in the last few seasons for Slavia Prague, will play. And now let's look at the stats, which will probably tell you where I'm going with my tip. Slavia only lost one European game in the last 37, and that was against Arsenal last season when they were played out of the park. But Ferencvaros, the Hungarian champions, they're undefeated in the last 14 games in all competition, and they score at least 2 goals in 11 on the last 12 away games. So Ferencvaros are usually decent on the road. So a strong team at home that needs to go for the win, a good team that will not only defend the lead but try to get the key goal, both to score 2.08.
All right, let's see if Slavia Prague can make a comeback. A comeback was made by Shakhtar Donetsk in the first leg against Genk because the Belgian team took the lead, but then Tete and Patrick scored the goals for Shakhtar Donetsk, a team that lost actually in the weekend in the Ukrainian league against Alexandria. This is a classic of the Champions League, and after winning also the first leg, Danny, they are also favorite to win in the second leg against Genk.
This is the game I watched more attentively because I'm fascinated by the Zerbi project. They're a Shakhtar. They were the better team in Belgium for large parts of the game. You can already see the blueprint from the Zerbi, building from the back, dominating the possession, quick overlaps on the wings, and they did a lot of damage, especially on the right-hand side with Dodo. But it was the changes that the Zerbi brought in the second half when they were 1-0 behind, bringing Alan Patrick, who scored the second one, Ismaili, who assisted Alan Patrick for the second goal on the left-hand side, that really changed the game. Shakhtar started pushing a little bit higher, didn't allow Genk so much space on the wings, and in the end, I think they could have won even more comfortably. However, Genk, be mindful because they are an organized team. They are hard to beat. As I said, they are very good on the wings. They can exploit some of the weaknesses sometimes that Zerbi teams leaves in the wide spaces, especially with the Japanese Ito, who provided the assist for Onuachu. He kept scoring. This is a Nigerian striker. The last year scored 35 goals. So, they could trouble Shakhtar defense. Obviously, they need to go for the 2 goals margin because the away goals, doesn't count anymore. Genk won 2-1 away this weekend. They were losing, then they got back into winning position, but their defense is the weakest spot. They already conceded 11 in 5 official games so far. I saw the Shakhtar being quite dominating. Maybe they were a touch unlucky. Shakhtar to score in both halves, 2.5.
Ahmed is asking us that he cannot understand if the away goal doesn't count anymore. Why Slavia Prague need at least 3 goals? Well, they lost 2-0. If they win 2-0, they will go to extra time, then penalties. So actually, to qualify and win, they need at least 3 goals. But if
without conceding,
3-1,
without conceding, 3-1 extra time.
3-1, they go to
extra time. So forget about the away goals; they don't exist anymore.
Exactly. This is over in Europe, something that many people were asking. Actually, then we have Monaco, Sparta Prague. Monaco is one of these teams that they must qualify to the group stages, coming, of course, from the French League. They started to play in the French League in the weekend, but they didn't start well. It was a draw at home against Nantes. Remember that Monaco, they won in Prague 0-2 to Tchouaméni and Volant. So they are very, very close to qualify for the next round. We said it in the previous video, Danny, that Monaco was really favored. It was a better team than the Sparta Prague, a team that is being overplayed also by their neighbors, Slavia, in the Czech league. Although they are doing good in the domestic competition this season, 3 games, 3 victories, but this is a lot to ask, I guess, in the Louis II Stadium. Monaco favorites to win. Also, the second leg, 1.5.
It was the first time that Sparta Prague failed to score so far this season, 4 wins and a defeat for the Czech team, because they face a team that's got much more quality, better players all over the park, and they show that. I think it was an accomplished performance from Monaco. They look comfortable. I think they could have scored even more. And, in the end, the difference of the players on the pitch, people like Golovin, who gave the assist, were obviously key. So Niko Kovacs is in his second season there. I think he's leaving already a quite important mark. Let's see what they do into the next round. This is the one that probably is the easiest bet. If you go for the outright market, you can see the quotes are very low. Monaco had over 10 shots on target in the first leg. They come from the back of a 1-1 draw in Ligue 1 against Nantes. Sparta Prague won their domestic game 2-0. Rosek, the 19 years old, opened the scoring. We said probably is the most dangerous player for the Czech. But, if you want to find some value on this one, probably you need to look for the first half market. You go the outright market, go and select first half, second half. You find usually higher odds. Monaco to win the first half, that doubles your money, 2.05.
Then we go to Denmark. We have Midtjylland PSV. What is going on with PSV in this start of the season? They thrashed Midtjylland also in the first leg, 3-0 with Götze scoring, but even in the weekend, they beat 0-4 Ajax in the Dutch Super Cup. Remember that they were coming also for an impressive result in the previous round against Galatasaray. So we have actually good odds for PSV to win again in Denmark, which is not easy, as Midtjylland, we said that last season they were competitive actually in Europe. Odds 2.2 for PSV to win again, a team that is basically, I guess, Danny, qualified for the next round.
Absolutely. And Midtjylland, as we said previously, against Celtic, they were good because they stayed in the game for a long time, but over the 2 legs for 70, 80 minutes, they were by far the worst team. They should have been put away by Celtic, who had so many chances in the first leg, in the second leg also to close the tie, and they didn't. And then in the end, Midtjylland got back to the game and won it and qualify, also thanks to the fact that Celtic was playing a very unexperienced backline. With PSV was very different because they played an experienced team with a lot of quality. And as you said, they are in great forms, especially the English striker Maudeke, already 4 goals in 4 games. He scored against Ajax, 2 goals at the weekend. He opened the scoring against Midtjylland too. The Norwegians had 0 shots on targets playing at the Philips Stadium in Eindhoven. PSV had many chances to round up the scoring. So next for PSV is going to be either Benfica or Spartak Moscow. So probably the Portuguese, because they won 2-0 the first leg. That's going to be a really, really, really good tie to watch. However, for Midtjylland, I think the route into the Europa League shouldn't be too difficult for a team. Let's not forget, last year they held their own in a tough group in the Champions League against Liverpool, Atalanta, and Ajax. They were never trashed. So it's a team that is gaining international experience, has got some interesting players like Evander, the Brazilian, Pione Sisto used to play for the Danish team. They won 4-1 at the weekend, Midtjylland in the Norwegian League. They even rested a couple of players. I think this is going to be a game where also PSV are going to rest players as well, because now obviously the games come thick and fast, especially in this busy August. There isn't great value on a PSV Eindhoven because I think, again, the motivations might not be there. The draw, it could be appealing, but maybe let's go for an open game in the second half where both could score. So both to score in the second half, that triple your money, 3. That's the odd.
Mm-hmm. Then let's go to Bulgaria, Ludogorets Olympiacos. We saw one of the surprises of the first leg in the draw. 1-1 in Athens, and Olympiacos were actually kind of lucky because they scored the equalizer at the end of the game. It was Kamara, so 1-1 result here. Olympiacos, despite that draw, they are still favorites to go through and even to win this game in Bulgaria. Odds 2.5 for them. The Bulgarian league already started, 2 games and 2 victories. For Ludogorets, Olympiacos, we saw them in the Champions League, not yet in the Greek league. Danny, you also think, as we said at the beginning with Red Star, that Olympiacos should do the homework away?
It should be the pedigree, the European pedigree that counts in the end. But it's true, this was a big surprise. I think watching the game of Olympiacos, they need to improve dramatically the way they play. They did not play the best football. But if they do, with the quality of players like El Arabi, like Balbuena, Villa, should be enough to beat Ludogorets. A lot of possession, if you look at the stats for Olympiacos in the first game. Not enough chances. Probably they lack a little bit of game time. The fact that he said that was the first competitive game of the season is already so important. In the first 45 minutes, for example, Olympiacos didn't have any shot on target. In the end, they were saved by Agibu Kamara, who came on as a substitute and scored in the last minutes of the game. But careful, because Ludogorets knew how to exploit the weaknesses of Olympiacos, especially at the back. They could have won it in the very last minute with the spot of who's the best player by far. It could be an open game. The interesting thing is that both teams had a full week to prepare for this game. Ludogorets rested the weekend, so that's going to give them a little advantage maybe over Olympiacos, which I believe they have more quality and they should be on the front foot. So there is a decent odd for them, for the Greeks, to take the lead in Bulgaria. Olympiacos to score first, 1.91.
Another team that was saved in the last minutes of the game was Young Boys. We have a Young Boys Cluj, because the Swiss team got the equalizer in the 90 minutes, 1-1 in Romania. Cluj, they won all 4 games in the Romanian league, and last week we were saying that they actually kind of struggled to beat and to knock down a team like Lincoln from Gibraltar. So we expected actually Young Boys to cruise in this round. I guess they already struggled in Romania, so they should win at home, and the bookies actually expect that. We can see now the odds only 1.57 for a home victory here.
I think Young Boys, as I said, we looked them last season and we were impressed with their progresses in the Europa League. They were scoring a lot of goals, especially the front three, Fasnacht and Samé, who's an absentee this game. That could be a problem. And Siabachu. But against Cluj, they had problems, especially at the beginning, because they conceded very early. Then they took control of the game. They had the game in hand, but they couldn't capitalize. And actually, the goal came only in the 93rd minutes. Cluj started the link strongly, I must say, but they lost 1-0 away at the weekend. So they are in the mix for regaining the title of Romanian champions. Last year, let's not forget, these two teams met and ended 1-1 in the Europa League, 1-1 in Romania, and 2-1 in a tense, decisive match in Switzerland. They finished with 3 red cards, and then Young Boys scoring 2 in extra time to qualify from the next round of the Europa League. I still think the Swiss got more quality, more firepower. There is an Asian handicap -1 for Young Boys, which I like, 1.96. So let's not forget, if they win with 1 goal margin, you don't lose your stake, you get your money back. If they win with 2 goals margin or more, you win 1.96.
Then from Switzerland we go to Portugal, and we have one of the biggest clubs in this round, European champions, Benfica, Spartak Moscow. Benfica won 2-0 in the Russian capital. Rafa Silva and Gilberto scored, and they also started the Portuguese league with a victory the past weekend, 1-2 against Moreirense. Similar odds as Young Boys, Danny, around 1.5 for Benfica, also winning this second leg against a team like Sparta Moscow that they didn't even started the Russian league with the right foot. Only 3 points in 3 games, including a defeat in the weekend.
Yeah, against Nizhny Novgorod, 2-1. The good news for Spartak is that Ezequiel Ponce is back. He was with the Argentinian team at the Tokyo Olympics. He came back, he scored the weekend. They lost, but I think they need that creativity, that spark, that engine in midfield to dive them through. It is a team that struggles for goals. Their main man is Shobolev, who plays for Russia. We didn't really see much of him at the Euros either. And in fact, that was shown in the first leg in Moscow. They didn't trouble Benfica that much. It took a little while to Benfica for get going. In the first half, they were a little bit sluggish. Then in the second half, they came out of the block a little bit better. And obviously, they scored the 2 goals. Credit to them, because they were without the main man, Haris Seferovic, who got injured after 25 minutes. And maybe Seferovic might be on his way to Rome. Talking about a little bit of transfer market. If Dzeko goes to Inter, Rome is looking for another big striker. The Swiss could be on the card. But the fact that he's injured and maybe potentially might move away, that could be the debut for the Ukrainian Roman Yeremenchuk, who last year played for Bruges. And we saw decent striker at the Euros as well. So Benfica have got firepower, even if Seferovic leaves. Benfica are in a very good moment. They were unbeaten in pre-season. They won at the weekend, as you mentioned, against Moreirense. They were playing actually with 10 men because Diego Gonçalves saw red card in the second half. They're very good at home, Aldalus. They only lost 1 of the last 19 games at home. So it will be really a catastrophe if they don't qualify for this round to face PSV in the next round. But it could be a slow game, I think, a slow start, similar to the first leg. So under 2.5 goals, 2.30.
Then we go to Poland, Legia Warsaw, Dinamo Zagreb, another surprise. Actually, in the first leg, because we saw 1-1, so everything is very open now in the Polish capital. Still, Dinamo Zagreb, they are favorites to win the game, 2.21. We place them as big favorites, actually, to qualify in this tie, Danny, because last season they surprised us in the Europa League, knocking out Tottenham, and we expected at least to beat Legia Warsaw. I think that they are not doing great in Europe actually in the last years, and they already won 2 qualification rounds against Flora Tallinn and Bodo Glimt, but we didn't expect that much about the Polish team. You can see also a surprise here, or again, as we said in a couple of games before, Dinamo Zagreb doing what they didn't do at home away.
This is really on a knife edge. I think it is the most difficult one to judge, because Dinamo Zagreb is a team that now is qualified 4 times in the last 7 years for the Champions League group stages, and they play a Legia team that instead only qualified in the group stage. The last time was in 2016. But if we look at the way the game developed in Zagreb, both teams had a lot of chances. Dinamo had many chances to make it 2-0. The manager said they should have won the game easily. In the end, they let the door open, and Legia Warsaw equalized with one of the few strikes in the second half. It's also true that Dinamo started the league very slowly this season, so they are not in a great form. Only 4 points out of 9. But if you look at their strikers and their attack, they are a force. They should be feared. 36 goals in the last 13 games. The like of Orsic, we saw it also at the Euros, Ivanušek and Gavranovic, the Swiss. However, Legia this year, in this calendar year 2021, only lost one game at home. So we are looking at team that is quite strong when he plays at home, and they are rested at the weekend. They didn't have a game, so that's also something that could help them to focus in a massive prize. There's gonna be a lot of spectators in Poland. It's quite a hot atmosphere, we know, at the stadium of Legia Warsaw. So I'm gonna be cautious. It's very difficult to pick the outright market. It's very difficult to pick the first half, second half, maybe both to score. You could go for that, but I think these are teams that are going to go for it. They're going to be plenty of goals. So if you go on the goals market and you select first half, you can go over 1 goal in the first half. That pays 209. So if the first half ends 0-0, you've lost your money. I'm sorry. But if in the first half there is 1-0, you get your money back. If there is a 1-1 or 2-0, you get 209. So you're a little bit covered there.
To clash with really hot supporters. Oh my God, you mentioned when Legia Warsaw was in the Champions League for the last time. I remember when they come to Madrid, they made quite a mess around the stadium with the supporters. Legia have, and the last game we have Rangers Malmo. Rangers, they were this close to a disaster, but Davis scored in the 90 minutes, so they got a 2-1 result in Sweden. They are still alive, and with 1-0, they go to extra time. Remember, Rangers, that they also lost in the weekend in the Scottish League against Dundee United, although Danny, the odds show us that the Rangers, they are still favorites. Steven Gerrard's men to win this game, odds 1.62 against a team like Malmo, that they are on top of the Swedish league. Already many games. They've played a lot already this season. I hope no, because I really like Rangers. I mean, Scottish teams are always very nice to watch, that they can qualify and they can turn this around in the second leg.
Well, how wrong I was in my previous video, because I said, great Rangers, they're going to work the league this year, unbeatable. They lost 2-1, and actually they lose 2 games in 4 days. They lost also in the Scottish League after 41 games at the weekend. What happened in Sweden was that Malmo looked like a team that has already played 10, 12 competitive games against a team that played no competitive games. They were just more to it. They got more rhythm. They got more pace. They were more focused, I think, as well. And that paid off also because it's a Malmo team that, compared to last season, they strengthened their attacking options as well. However, they let the goal in the end, the 95th minute, with Steven Davis, and that's what keeps Rangers' hopes alive. I think I won't be wrong if I say this is the biggest game for Steven Gerrard during his manager spell at Rangers in the last 3 years and a half, because this is really where they need to overcome a deficit. They need to prove that they are a European team. They got the European pedigree, which they have shown in the last few years in the Europa League. They have beaten some of the good elite team from the Europa League, but this is a step forward. And let's not forget, obviously, they'll have the other knockout stage to negotiate. I think what happened at the weekend when they lost against Dundee United is that they were put under pressure. They were pressed really high. They lack a little bit of energy, a little bit of enthusiasm. They look like a team that was expecting things to happen for them just out of magic. They seem a little bit distracted, maybe also some players returning from abroad, not fully fit, like the Colombian Morelos. He was the main man last year. He's been the main man for many years, but he didn't look very fit. So let's see if he starts, and because Rangers need to be much more threatening in the final third this time against Malmo. So I think they're gonna start strongly. So I think maybe they're gonna score for first, but I'm gonna leave this one for my ACCA in a second. Rangers to win 2-0, 2.90.
Let's see then if Steven Gerrard can qualify Glasgow Rangers finally for the Champions League group stage, although remember there is still another qualification round, a playoff before the group stage. Then Danny, you just mentioned your ACCA. So let's see what you have with these 10 games we have this week in Europe.
First ACCA of the season, hopefully. Let's start with a win. That will be amazing. So then I can settle for the rest of the season. Red Star to qualify. Malmo. Let's start again. Red Star to qualify. Monaco, clean sheet. Young Boys win. Legia, Dinamo Zagreb, both to score. And as I mentioned before, Rangers to take the lead. Total odds, 14.90.
All right, and then we can pay lunch by the sea in this month of August, where we have already football back in Europe, starting with the Champions League that we all love. Then, Danny, thank you very much. Time to enjoy the sea and the summer. And see you very soon again with the Champions League and Serie A. Thanks everyone also for watching, for commenting, and don't forget, of course, to click on the like and subscribe if you enjoy our videos, so we can make many more and help you placing your bets. See you very soon and
ciao, Edu.
Ciao.
Ciao. Speak soon. Bye-bye.